Hey, what's up guys, NPS3D here and welcome back a new tutorial. So this is the season of Christmas. Merry Christmas from my side. This is a gift for Merry Christmas. So let's see the result what we are going to create today. Alright, so you can see this is the pretty much good result. There are some kind of smoke type, that the smoke type effect, this magic trail type effect, right? And this leaves and this Christmas balls and star and some rose petals also, right? And this is leaves, right? So let's try to recreate it. So make a new composition, press Ctrl N or just go to File, New and New Project, and just don't save it, and just click here to create a new, make a comp and just rename it to the Christmas. Hit OK. And for the reference, to create a new solid, just right click, create a new and just go to the solid and just apply a particular effect. I am using Trapcode Particular version 4, but if in case you don't have version 4, you can also go with an older version, right? So let's create a new light, right? Let it be to the point light and just duplicate it, right? And let's go to the top view and let's adjust the position. So this is the point light 1. So I adjusted both in a center, right? Go to the active view, or you can go to the left view and just check it, but go to the active view and just create a new null object and press F4 on your keyboard, or just click on the toggle switches here and just make it a 3D null, right? And parent both lights to the null object. So now we have a control for both lights, so we can just move in up and down or just left and right, and we can also rotate it according to our demand of project. I mean, we can also scale it, right? So now we have a control for both lights in a separate null, right? So I will tell you why we created both two lights, because we will emit particle from the light, right? So go to the particular. First let me put it down. Let's create a new camera. Go to 35 or 50 millimeter. I'm going to 35, right? Go to the top view, right? Go to the left view to see everything is perfect. Go to the active view. Go to the particular and go to the emitter, and now you can see this is emitting, right, from a point but not from our lights, because when we will choose to light, so it will say to start with emitter, right? Only light whose name start with emitter are used. Create a light with a new layer and just forget everything. And the thing is, you will see a lot of tutorials on YouTube, and all people, and also me, even me also, I use like this. Press type capital E, small M-I-T-T-E-R, and now let me go to the particular and choose again to the light, and now you can see this is emitting from light 1, not from light 2, right? Because the point light 1 name is emitter, right? So we have to change the both name is emitter, light emitting particle, right? But you don't need to type emitter, right? Because if your name is something like AJ or something, anything just like me, NPS3 and D, right? It's both light. So you just need to go to the choose the emitter type to light and go here is the option called light and naming, and just type your light here, type your name here, and now you can see it's emitting from that, right? You don't need to rename your light always in emitter, right? Anyways, let's move on the other step. So now we have to animate the position and the rotation of our lights, right? So press P on your keyboard and just click a keyframe here. Seven seconds and move it to upward. Move it to upward something around here, right? And now let's press Shift and R to bring out the rotation properties, and now you have to rotate the Y direction. So just add a keyframe on Y and go over 7 seconds and let's animate it how much time you want. So I put 7, right? So you can see it's animating 7 times and going upward, right? So go to the particular and choose just down the velocity to 0, right? You can see, and also all these parameters to 0, and here is the emitter, so we choose individual and make it something around 12 and 12, right? Now you can see looking good, but it's not behaving like our tree, right? Go to the 7 second and go to the null object and press U, right? Select both these and ease in. So press S on the null object. I select the null and press S, and let's go to the something around 3, or just come very starting and just go to the 7 second and make it smaller like this, right? So now you can see this is making the shape is like a tree, right? You can see looks a lot better. So save your project. Now you have to up the life of particles, because when it goes to 7 seconds we want a full particle showing our tree. So go to the particle menu and just increase the life to something around 12 seconds, right? So now you can see and if you want to adjust the size of tree little bit, so you can just select both these things and go to the keyframe assistant easy ease in, right? And go to the graph editor and just play with that to make it whatever you want. So shape looks good, and anyways if you don't like you can just go again and go to the press S and you can just select both these and press Ctrl and just click here to make it in a previous one, but I like this one. Let's move on the next step. Now we have to create the leaf, right? Because our tree is full of leaves. So go to the particular and just come over to the particle, and here is the sprite, right? Just choose it, right? Go to the texture properties and here is the option called sprite. Choose the sprite. So in particular version 4 it's already given a lot of presets, I mean a lot of textures. So I am choosing one of them, this spinning leaves, and hit OK. So now you can see, right? And here is the option called random loop, so I am going to choose random still frame. This is not moving, but and go to the particle size and increase it what you like, and just make it a little bit random. And now let's go to the physics, and here is the option called air, and go to the spin frequency and spin amplitude. We will just increase a little bit, I mean something around 4, and go to the turbulence field. Looks good. Let's see the preview, and we can also make changes anytime, right? So I just created 2 keyframes to slow down the particles when it's good to end the video, and in the very end it's just 0. And because we just make the particle life in 12 seconds, that's why particle will stay on at least on 12 seconds, right? Control S to save your project. Now let's move on the next step. The next step is, and you can see here, right, there are also snow, but we have to make, I think, more leaves, and we have to animate the position of Z, right? So go to the particle here, and let me increase the size a little bit more, like this, and just increase the velocity something around 5. Looks good. And also in the G something around 25, and 25. Let's see how looks good. Go to the setting tab and just enable the shadow from main, right? And let's adjust the settings. Adjust size something around 45 and distance 25. Right, so this is before and this is after, right? And opacity I'm going to choose 12 or something around 10 or 8, something like that. So looks good, right? You can see it is little bit different from the first one, but I like this one. And if you don't like this one, you can just down the velocity. I mean, if I put 0 again, but I like this one, so I will choose 5. This looks good, right? So let's move it a little bit upward, right? And in case if you think your project is a little bit heavy, you can just slow down the particles, but it's looking good to me. And let's rename it, because if we duplicate the particle and if we change any other particle, it will automatically remove. So we will change to leaf. Go to the particle and just make sure this is selected the leaf. Now let's duplicate the particle and solo it and choose the sprite. Let's select this star one and hit OK. Make sure this star count is less particles, because this looks perfect and this looks amazing, but we don't want that much of star. So we'll come here, make sure the particle per second, we added a keyframe, so we'll come here and we will just add few, just a few, and let me unsolo it. So now you can see, and if you still think this is too much, we can just make it something around 45. So, and we can also play with the size. So let me increase the size to something around 15 or something around 20, because we want a little bit bigger star and we want less star, so make it something around 12. Right? So this looks good, and make sure rename it to the star. Right? So now let's duplicate the star particle again and make it to the bulb particles. And I hope you understanding the tutorial, because my English is not too much good, but I try my best to explain everything and make it cool. Right? So let's choose any of these bulbs, and this is on the same place. So what you have to do, we just select it and just go to the random and just bulb particles and press U, then come over here and make it something around 5. Right? Let's duplicate the bulb particle. So looks good, right? And let's create one more time and let's add a blue one. So Control D, select this, and this is gonna be orange bulb. Let's leave it. So this is a red bulb. Now let's duplicate it and create a blue one or orange one. So orange bulb, and go to the to the particle and choose the sprite and choose the orange bulb, this one. And you can also choose the texture one, but I am going to choose this one. Hit OK, and let's change the random seed, and you can also play with the emitter size X, Y and Z. Looks good. Let's increase the particle amount of this orange bulb, this golden bulb, right? So looks good. Now let's increase and let's make this white snow. So let's duplicate the leaf particle. This is gonna be a snow, and go to the particle sprite and choose it to the cloudant, right? And just smaller the size little bit, something around 1%. And now you can see this created the snow effect, right? And this looks good, right? You can make the shadow a little bit darker, right? And now let's create this snowy, like this magical trails or the smoke and the fog, whatever you can say it. Let's duplicate the leaf particle again, and we can also do the other step, just like we can just make it very top and just make some less leaves. So now it's look like the snow and some other things also get covered by this upper particle, this leaf, right? So now let me increase the I like this look, so I will decrease the particle and I will increase the shadow. So go to the shadow part and make it something around 78 and 45. Before and after. I'll just down the particle again little bit. It's too much. Very less particle. So this is before and this is after. Just a few, and we can also increase the size. Or we can change the particle leaf to another leaf. Just a few leaves. And hit OK. Alright, so this is looks a little bit good because the leaf is something like Xmas leaf, right? So I am just increased a little bit, not too much, and the snow will top of everything, right? So this looks good, and also the red bulb is now. So you can see some things are. Let me put this magic in another leaf and make it below. So this looks good, right? So we have a variety of some leaves. And if you think there are a lot of snow, you can just go to the snow and so this looks good. Now let's create a solid, and this gonna be a magic trail. Alright, and let's apply a particular and solo this and go to the designer view. I think this one, right? This one. So hit apply and go to the emitter tab and make it to the light, and again change the light name to NPS3D and hit OK. And now you can see it's behaving but very different way. So let me tweak the settings. Go to the auxiliary animation right here, go to the physics and go to the air and go to the wind and let me put down to 0, and also go to the turbulence field and make it to the 0, or just go over to the velocity and make it 0. Just turn down the velocity from motion to 0, and also this 0, and something like this. Increase the velocity a little bit, something around 4%. Let's come to the gravity field. Let's animate it in another way. So I added a gravity in 20%. Right, you can see something like this. Everything looks good, not too much complex. So let's add a keyframe on just 3, and let's go to the 5 frames and make it 0. Press U, let it be complete the trail, right? Looks good, right? Let's duplicate it, and this gonna be magic. And in this one you don't need to do too much, we just need to go to auxiliary animation, and here is the option of particle velocity, and change it to something around 34, 35, and press U and come over here and emit more particles like this, right? And if you want, you can also increase the emitter also here, right, like this, and unsolo this both layers, and now you can see, and we added the gravity in both layers. If we don't want gravity, so go to the physics and make it 0 to both. So we are done something. So create a background and just add a gradient, a ramp, and make it to the radial and place it here, something around here, and just make the color which is this in the center. Something around here, right? So this looks good, but our scene is not good yet. And if you want, you can just make the shape of Christmas just like this one also, but I like this one solid, and make it to the optical flare top of everything, and just go to the optical flare and open the optical flare. Make this okay, and just go to the position and make it to the track light, and render mode on transparent, and make it to the additive, and the scale size is something around 45, and make the color to this one. Let's add some particles to fill out the busy. So this is the busy, and go to the designer, because there are a lot more ready preset. You can just go with that. Let's open this sparkle dust and hit apply. Let's solo it with the particles and make the size randomness a little bit bigger, and the emitter, and make the count a little bit less, something like this. And let's duplicate it. Go to designer view again. Let me open this large snow 2D, and here is also large snow 3D, but I want large snow 2D, and apply. And make it to the additive. Good to go, but you can do a few more things, just like you can just down the particles, and you can just down the size also, right? And make it just behind of everything, and we can also make it upper, but it depends on you what you want. So I am putting this above, looks good to me. And if you don't like this shape, you can just make it like this, and you know how to make it because I already told you. I'm going to increase the shading again to make it little bit, right? Looks good. and let's apply a new solid on, let's apply a new adjustment layer top of everything, and let's add a curves effect. And you can also apply a glow effect here and make it a softer glow on everything, like everything, right? Looks good. And you can also add these types of firecrackers if you want, right? So you can also use the particular to create this, and when you will render it will so heavy because we are already using a lot of particles. So I already render a PNG sequence of the firecrackers, so let me import it and put it here, and I can just slow down it, and I can just scale down it. Right, and the scene is like this. And you can just type a text right over here or here and just apply and just send anyone and wish them a happy Merry Christmas. And if you think, you can also apply a cinematic camera angle and just apply a stencil alpha and something like this if you want. And if you want to add a little bit of camera movement, you can also do that. So let me go to the quarter, press and move the camera in the very front, very top, and just add a new null object, and this gonna be a cam control, and make it in a 3D. Press camera to parent with the cam control. Now let's P the position and go to here. And you know there are a lot of technique to create a reflection, right? So you can also do it. You can just mirror it or just duplicate it, and there are a lot of steps to create the reflection, but I'm not going to do that. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and let's see the final preview of this with sound. And thanks for tuning me with this tutorial. And if you have any questions, put down in a comment box or just leave a message on FB. And you can also follow me on Instagram, on FB also, and just press the like button if you learn something from this tutorial. And thanks for supporting me, thanks for loving me. I am NPS3D, and we will see you next time with a great tutorial. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And that's it for now, and we will see you next time. And if you have any tutorial suggestion, just put them in a comment box, and we will see you next time. So Merry Christmas from my side, and this is the final result of this video.
Audio Jungle.